I've lived in the Forest of Dean for all my life, and I have a really big passion for the wildlife that we have on our doorstep, and I've always wanted to sort of play a role in protecting and conserving the species that we have here.
We had railways everywhere in the forest and they all joined up, so you've got this habitat, generally speaking quite often a bank, which is really good habitat, especially if it's facing the sun. You've got miles of this all joining up, so things like butterflies can move along and reptiles and all join up and meet each other and interbreed and spread their genes around the forest.
This whole area is becoming one of the key open space wildlife areas in the Dean. It's been a real surprise and happiness every year when I come here, and it's sort of, wow, you know, we've got that there.
Although I wasn't born in the forest, I have lived all my life in the forest, and actually the forest is a really important part of my life. The Commoners Association work incredibly well. They're an important heritage part of the forest, so I think it's important that people understand it, and it's celebrated that we look after nature so well.
My role is to plan and deliver habitat improvement work on woodland and heathland habitats in the Forest of Dean. This is to help combat some declines in some of our rarest bird species. We also carry out surveying and monitoring work just to keep an eye on populations, to try and see whether the management that we're doing is actually successful and what more we can do. Projects like Forest is Forest are really good because it is raising awareness and carrying out really important habitat work.
Sheep have naturally, throughout the years, maintained all these habitats, and people have hefted them to make sure that they are able to still trim verges, trim in amongst the trees, so they kept a lot of that open.
And then that benefits a lot of species like woodlark and nightjar that we're focusing on in the project.
A lot of the free roaming sheep in the forest has dwindled over the recent years, and it means that this project was almost a response to trying to actually encourage people to go back into the forest and do what was naturally done for centuries and done so well.
It was a fairly dense conifer, dark underneath, no habitat here, but we knew it was adjacent to the really good habitat. So we clear-felled the conifers off here, and it gave us a blank canvas to create the habitat for all the key species of butterfly here. The grizzleds and the dingy skippers, the small pearl-bordered fritillary and the wood whites, as well as all the other butterflies that we'll get here, like the small heath and the common blue. We created these, what I call butterfly banks. So you've got a really sunny aspect, which will be lovely and hot for species that like hot areas. You've got a north side for species that want a bit of shade. Again, under the Forest is Forest project, I bought in locally sourced butterfly caterpillar food plants, and we've planted about 3,000 plants here, plus seeds. I came here during lockdown and I had every one of my key species of butterfly on the wing. It was fantastic. What we're doing works. When you lift those up, it's like Christmas because you don't know what's going to be in your stocking.
Well, basically we're looking for places around the forest where there might be reptiles. What we're really looking for is adders, because adders are the ones that are in the most trouble across the country. We're very lucky in the forest that we still have them. We'd love to find some new places where they might be, so we can look after those places and try and link them up with some of the other adder places. Today isn't a great day for reptiles. If I was a reptile, it would be one of those days where I can't be bothered to get out of bed. Ready, steady, go? We're hoping to have 30 of these sites around the forest. Bit of a mouse's nest, more ants. We've got a snail, slow worm. This is the most satisfying one, really. You know, something that's on the Ordnance Survey map, to put it back.
These were ponds for the Crump Meadow colliery to run the steam engines that worked all the machines on the colliery. In the historical photos, this whole area was just completely open. It would have been an amazing wildlife habitat as well as being a working colliery. Although we're doing it from a wildlife point of view, it was only here because of the industrial heritage here.
stood here one day in June and there was a male emperor dragonfly staking out the territory. I mean, that's really satisfying when you see that.
We have a team of 3 working dogs. They are the most important, not only tool, but companion. They go through the thick and the thin of it with you, really. And they're out there in the driving rain with the same expression of why are we here as everyone else.
We have amazing volunteers here. We're so lucky in the Forest of Dean. And we couldn't manage these sites without them.
It's good to work towards conservation, but on a more landscape scale, working with lots of local organisations, Gloucestershire Wildlife Trust, Forestry England, to all achieve this common goal. It is so fulfilling when you actually see the species flourishing in what you've helped to create.